Welcome to this gathering hosted by the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green. Whether you're here in person or online, we welcome you. I'm glad you're here with us today. My name is Janine, and I'm going to be the service associate today. I would ask that if you have a cell phone, please set it to silent. Yes, thank you. This service is being live streamed in the small lounge near the main door that you came in. If this room becomes uncomfortable, your children get restless, you get restless, for whatever reason, the service is available next door. You may need to turn on the TV and go to YouTube and then look for UU. It should come right up. It's also available in the fellowship hall. There's a screen there you can watch it on. We are a welcoming congregation, so whoever you are, however you identify, wherever you come from, and whoever you love, please know that you are welcome here. Our Sunday services are a little different each week. This week is especially different. Next slide. Today we'll be doing our Remembrance service, and it is part of our liturgical cycle, which is a church way of saying season festival thingies throughout the year. We have 6 of them that we've sort of adopted here at this congregation, and they help us keep in touch with the milestones of our lives and recognize the seasons of the year. And there you see, today we're at Remembrance Day. In December, we'll do Illumination. We have Science Sunday, Earth Day. In the springtime, our traditional flower ceremony, which is an age-old UU tradition, 100 years old now. And then in the end of summer, we do water, and then we do back to Remembrance. So it's a full cycle of the year. Again, today is Remembrance. This is a time of year when many cultures throughout the world set aside time to honor their ancestors, remember their loved ones. The festivals of Dias de los Muertos, All Souls Day, Totenfest, Samhain, and our own Remembrance Day. So it's the time of year when the leaves are falling. The nights are getting cooler, not sure about the days. But we're moving to the dark time of the year, and we're going to take time today to remember those we love who have passed on. Another tradition, which is common to Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world, is the flaming chalice. It's a symbol of the light of learning and the love of our community. John's going to light the chalice for us. If you have a chalice at home, please feel free to light it now. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lit the flame within us. Albert Schweitzer. Please join in singing Rise Up, O Flame. It's hymn 362 in the gray hymnal. The words are up on the screen. By thy light glow. Our opening reading today will be done by Gail.
Do not care if you just arrive in your skeleton. Would love to take a walk with you. Miss you. Would love to make you shrimp saganaki, like you used to make me when you were alive. Love to feed you. Sit over steaming bowls of pilaf, little roasted tomatoes covered in pepper and nutmeg. Miss you. Would love to walk to the post office with you. Bring the ghost dog. We'll walk past the waterfall and you can tell me about the after. Wish you would come back for a while. Don't even need to bring your skin sack. I'll know you. I know you will know me even though I'm bigger now, grayer. I'll show you my garden. I'd like to hop in the leaf pile you raked, but if you want to jump in, I'll rake it for you. Miss you standing, looking out at the river with your rake in your hand. Miss you in your puffy blue jacket. They're hip now. I can bring you a new one if you'll only come by. No, I told you it was okay to go. No, I told you it was okay to leave me. Why'd you believe me? You always believed me. Wish you would come back so we could talk about truth. Miss you. Wish you would walk through my door. Stare out from the mirror. Come through the pipes.
We will now sing together. Here we have gathered hymn number 360 in the gray hymnal. Please rise in body and spirit.
house and help her with her farm. During other school breaks, she would visit his house and bring chocolate chip bread, which was his favorite, and they would eat it for breakfast. And for Christmas and birthdays, Grandma always gave him the best gifts. But then one day, Samuel's mom told him that Grandma had passed away. Samuel was so sad. He went to a service called a funeral, where everyone told lovely stories of how they remembered Grandma, and lots of people cried. Samuel was heartbroken, and sometimes it felt like the sadness wouldn't go away. But a few days later, Samuel was back at school, learning math and science and playing at recess. He'd laugh and have a good time, and then he'd go home and remember that his grandma was gone. He felt bad for laughing and having a good time, so the next day he didn't play at recess. Another day, he heard a girl at school mention that her grandmother had gotten her a necklace for her birthday. Samuel was angry. He would never get a gift from Grandma again. It wasn't fair. He was mad. Then one night for dessert, his mom fixed the family chocolate chip bread. It wasn't as good as Grandma's, and Samuel felt that same sadness mixed with anger again. But then his dad started laughing and retelling a story of how Grandma had gotten the sugar and salt mixed up when she was making the bread one time, and how awful that had been. Samuel laughed a little at the memory. Grandma had been so embarrassed when she had done that, and then he stopped himself. He wasn't supposed to laugh when he thought of Grandma, was he? Samuel's mom took him aside and said, "Is something wrong, Samuel?" He thought for a moment and asked, "Is it okay to be happy now that Grandma's gone?" "Well," Mom said, "that can be hard sometimes, can't it? When we lose someone, it's sort of like a storm. Some days our tears just pour out like rain, and it feels like we are flooded with sadness. Some days we are so mad that it feels like we just want to lash out at people like lightning strikes. And some days are so dark that we just can't even feel. It just hurts. But some days are sunnier. We remember the good times, the silly times, even the tough times. We remember a whole spectrum of memories, and more they shine a light on the storm clouds until they create a rainbow of memories that don't hurt so much, but they make us happy to remember."
So today, you'll notice that we have a little bit of a rainbow after the storm theme. We will be crafting butterflies, rainbow butterflies, and you can see that they are down here. And then later on in the service, we will be naming the names of the people that you created a butterfly for, those who we missed today and remember today, and we'll hang them on our remembrance tree. So as we enjoy some lovely music, I invite you to come forward to either place any mementos on our rainbow altar here, if you don't have any mementos, that's fine. Please go ahead and create a butterfly. I'll show you how to do it. There's a couple examples there, but you can use the little wooden sticks to make the darkness go away and let the rainbow underneath shine through. So, yes, come on.
So children, before you leave, if you have a butterfly, the children and the RE teachers can place their butterflies on the tree as they exit. We're going to be singing the children's recessional, which is hymn 413, Go Now in Peace. Go now in peace, go now in I invite everyone to join in a responsive reading. It is number 721. It's also in the gray hymnal, and it should be going to be up on the screen for you if you prefer to read up there. I will be reading the Roman, and you all get to read the italics. Here we go. In the struggles we choose for ourselves, in the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us. We share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion. Those who lived before us, who struggled for justice and suffered injustice before us, have not melted into the dust and have not disappeared. They are with us still. The lives they hold us steady. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands, and their hearts. We take them with us, and with them choose the deeper path of living. Let us name those who lead strength in our lives.
Cultures all over the world recognize butterflies as the spirits of those we have lost who fly between the worlds. And so today we remember those we wish were with us still by placing a butterfly for them on our remembrance tree. I invite you to come forward and grab a hook. There's some on the craft table and also at the edge here. As you put a butterfly on our tree, and then say the name and maybe a little something about the person you wish to remember today. If you need a butterfly brought to you, or you need the microphone brought to you to talk about your butterfly, please just raise your hand and we will make sure it gets hung and you get the microphone.
My butterfly is in remembrance of all who've died alone.
My remembrance is for my mother, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother, all very strong women who taught me a lot. My grandmother, my great-grandmother lived to be almost 100 between, and my mother too. I'm blessed.
My butterfly is for my grandmother, Nanny Jane Anderson, who passed away in January this year at just a month shy of 96.
My butterfly is for my sister Susan, who passed away in 1990. She was 45. She was a lover of life and of laughter.
Peggy Erskine died just 2 weeks ago. She started the volunteer work project at Antioch College in 1965. As she would like, she was getting the food ready for the work project. She had a heart attack and then seizures and died.
This is for my mom and dad who created my foundation, and for my wife Cindy, who taught me how to love.
This is for my mom, Elizabeth, my dad, Günther, and my best friend and brother, Bernd.
This is for my mom, Roz, who died in 2015, and my dad, Zell, who died in September.
This is this is sorry. This is for my mom, who passed away 13 years ago, who always believed in me. The other one's for my grandma, who passed away, I don't know, it's been probably 20 or 30 years ago, who taught me about love and being self-sustaining and canning and loving nature. And the last one's from my brother Chip, who was my oldest brother, who I didn't know I had until after I turned 18 years old, because we never knew about each other.
Since I saw most of you last 2 years ago, I lost my brother John, who was a year and a half younger than me actually, in Paris, leaving behind two sons and missing the birth of his first grandchild by a few months. We did not have much contact after a dispute many years earlier, but certainly it's still a loss. There's a picture of him and me in better days. And that was April 1st of 2023. Just this past month, I lost Trisha Tumino, who was my mentor when I was a student intern minister in Middleborough. She was my age and left behind children and grandchildren. The memorial service was just yesterday, so I was able to see bits of that on YouTube and hope to see the rest of it today. But she was certainly a very significant influence in my life, someone I love very much, and guided me towards ministry.
My butterfly is for 3 people today. I didn't think this was gonna happen. My brother-in-law got a medical diagnosis and walked to the 3rd floor of his home, locked the door behind me, and jumped out. My son's uncle. That happened last week. A grandchild was due in a month. He'd been married for 50 years. And, you know, death is also this, for me, that death brought up how we transition in relationship and saying goodbye is saying hello so often, and ask what is the calling in that. And often through the grief, that calling is to simply lean into the pain and let the answer become the love and the trust. So that is for my friend Bob. The last one is for my mother, Marty. And I would sleep with her as she was dying. And one morning she took her last breath. And I was there. And I recognized what a marvelous opportunity. She was with me for my first breath. I was with her for her last. And in each of these 3 deaths or transitions is in for me this incredible opportunity to notice that I want to live. So I am so grateful for this life and this community and the people that have gone before me and the one that I probably will never talk to again.
This is for Abraham Williams. Abraham ran the housing authority for about 25 years. He was always interested in what he could do to get people better education, to get themselves out of poverty. There was a big toast and roast for him last month, and there were lots and lots of us there. I was going to have lunch with him the next week, but unfortunately he died the next week unexpectedly. It's a great loss, but he was undying in coming up with new programs to help the poor, particularly in education. Vote yes on Amendment 2 to give parents a better choice for their children.
This is for my friend. She was my student and my colleague and always my teacher, Nancy Gertz Larson, who died this summer in Minneapolis.
I'm the youngest of four, I'm sorry. Now there's three, because my sister next in line to me died 2 years ago. So one of these is for Marie, my sister, who was so much fun, and she was a beautician, and she would do all these fun things with my hair, and then she cut off my ponytail one day without telling me she was going to do it, and I was so mad at her, but I forgave her. And then she just went off and had a life in New York, and I went and saw her, and towards the end, she, I think, was just not feeling well. And my sister in Albuquerque went and stayed with her as she was getting sicker and sicker. And she left my namesake, her daughter Becca, and her son-in-law, and of course they're heartbroken. So that's for Marie. I miss you. And then the other one is for our mom. You know, you can't ever replace your mom. Your mom is your mom. And she was a great mom and a really great granny. She had a lot of grandkids, and she had a good life. And we will always miss Mom.
Thank you. I will finish my butterflies and hang them at the end, but I have two butterflies. One is for my friend Beverly, who was a friend for 40 years, my very best and oldest friend. She had a bad accident and died in February, and I am her executrix, so her memory lingers daily as some portion of taking care of the estate occurs. I miss her. She was an interior designer for 40 years. She's helped me arrange pictures and pick colors and pick clothes, and was just a big sister to me, 10 years older. So this is a picture when she was young. She was Miss Jefferson County when she was in her 20s. So that's the picture that I have back when she was very happy. And in June, I have a butterfly for my nephew, who was 30 years old and loved his family and loved having fun, and died of a fentanyl overdose. So And I'll have a butterfly for him as well. So these will be hung, just not right now.
And anyone is welcome to do that afterward.
These are for 4 very strong women in my life. One is my grandmother, who immigrated from Germany in 1927, lost her husband in 29, and raised 3 children. Became a cook in Yosemite and later had her own restaurant, then a berry farm in Oregon. And I remember going to her farm in Oregon, playing in the creek behind, gathering eggs in her hen house, picking blackberries. My mother, who's very, very strong and creative woman, and 2 dear friends that the first meeting, I gave them a big hug. It was as if I knew them immediately, and they just taught me a lot about warmth and love.
This butterfly is for my mother, Margie Earl O'Brien Cunningham, born 1911 and died 1999. She was a nurse. She was a friend. She was everything to everybody in the family. And when the grandchildren started arriving, they named her Nani, and she became Nani to everybody in the family. And from that day, she was Nani. She was quite professional in the work that she did and very personal in her relationships with everybody. She was a nurse to my dad and to Dr. Harrelson in Central City, who shared offices when we were growing up in Central City. When my father died, we moved to Lexington, but before we did, she was administrator of the Muhlenberg County Hospital, the Davis County Hospital, the Paducah Riverside Hospital, and then in Lexington, ultimately she was the head nurse and administrator at Good Samaritan Hospital in Lexington. Known by people all over Kentucky for the work that she did, for her kindness and generosity of spirit and love. And to me, she was my mentor. She was the person that I most cherished and emulated and tried to have a life much like hers. And I've tried to be a friend to all. And I've found my community here with you, and a friend to all of you as well. And I want to hang this in her memory.
The first person I wrote down was my grandmother, my favorite adult, my father's mother, when I was growing up. And I brought a brooch that she had given me. I don't think it's real valuable or anything, but it's got the date 1950 on the back of it. She'd also given me a cameo, which was stolen out of a house I was living in 1993. I've never gotten over that. It was 100 years old when she gave it to me. And then I listed my father was way too young when he died. He was only 61. My mother died 24 years ago. And my sister lost a child shortly after he was born in 1988. And then I lost a cousin, Terry, to cancer back in the early 90s. I've listed 4 friends I've lost all due to health reasons starting in 2011. It's really, and they were all younger than I am, so not too much, but that's been really hard to deal with. Amy, you reminded me that I lost a friend
to suicide in 2008, John Morgan. I know Giovanni knew him. That was really sad. He had asked me to take care of his cats while he went on a trip and gave me a whole lot of money for it, and that confused me and never came back. And first they found his truck and then his body. So it was happening in Tennessee, but he lived here. And I've thought of more people, but I'm not going to name them. Other friends, family, and friends.
This is for my parents, Helmut and Gertrud, who had to put up with me living on a different continent for most of my life.
This butterfly is for my parents. Joseph Edward Kelly's on one wing and Doris Elma Adams is on the other. And then the other butterfly is for Carl Engelbert. He was a good friend of my husband's. He was godfather to our son. He was training for a marathon and passed away as he was running. He was 72. So keep running, Carl. We'll miss you.
Yeah, this butterfly is for my dad, who passed away in April. At least this year we didn't have as many go as we did last year. But I also I'm going to grab a butterfly to represent my Aunt Kathy, who someone was talking about training for a marathon. She was actually running and got hit by a car and died instantly. Very tough for my cousins. She was an aunt by marriage, so she was married to my dad's brother, and they are divorced. And then one of Dad's cousins, who was married to another one of Dad's cousins, passed away recently too. His name's Junior Combs. And then also too, let's remember Lisa Cummings, who was a member of this church for a long time.
I have several butterflies, one for my grandfathers, who I lost, one for my cousins, Lance and Lee, who were brother and sister and died within a week of each other in their 50s during COVID. Because of COVID, they were unable to get medical attention that they needed. And then finally, a friend of my family's, a very close friend of my family's, Modesto Del Castillo, that died a month ago. He was like a second father, always taking care of me and my sisters, as he and my dad, who were professors at Elizabethtown Community College, had to watch over us. And so tough to think about him without smiling, because he always had a smile on his face.
Didn't prepare this. I got a butterfly with my mother's name on it. It's rather fitting, I guess, because when my brothers and I were young, my parents took us to the People's Church of Kalamazoo, Michigan. The minister there was a Unitarian minister. And that was my introduction to Unitarianism. And I've moved around a lot since I started looking for a teaching job in Western finally, from which I retired a few years ago. In any case, Irene Brewer Garrett was my mother's name. She married my father. Interestingly, different backgrounds. My father came from a Jewish family. Lived in New York. His Jewish ancestors were German on one side and Polish, I believe, on the other, Gewurz. on the Polish side, and I forget what the German name was. Anyway, my mother was the religious education director at the People's Church of Bowling Green, of Kalamazoo, Michigan. And that was, and under her tutelage and general direction, my father participated in the Young People's Education Program. And I believe I was in the high school level class that he taught as part of that curriculum. So my parents were ethnically diverse, if you go back far enough, which fit with Unitarianism, because Unitarianism has a broad tent, welcomes people from all sorts of religious traditions who are wanting to talk about what they know about religion or think they know about it. And I'm sure that influenced my choice of an eventual career, which is teaching philosophy. In any case, what is there to say? As I went around looking in different parts of the country for a settled teaching position, and finally found it at Western, I attended different Unitarian churches in the various places where I lived temporarily. And I've been part of this church longer than probably any other church, including my childhood church, because I've lived in Bowling Green since the early 80s, I believe it was. In any case, what did I say? My mother became the general head of the religious education program at the People's Church in Kalamazoo. And what else to say about that? I don't know if there's anything else I should say about it at this point. I think she'd be glad to be remembered here because of her association with the Unitarianism. And I'll let it go at that for now.
This is in remembrance of my mother and brother who passed away a day apart a couple of years ago, and I really had a unique experience with that. My mother hadn't seen my brother in years. He was living in LA on the streets. He was always a homeless person, and the day before she died, she begged me to get him to her, and I said, we can't get him here. He's on probation, I just can't get him here, Mom. And so anyway, I went out to the car and I had a message that they had found my brother dead on the streets of LA. And I thought, I can't tell her because they were winging her out at the time with, a hospice with morphine. So I went back in, and as she was dying, she looked up and she just screamed. She said, Joey, you finally made it. It was such a religious experience to have him die and then visit her, and she went right after that. So we were able to I had a joint funeral, and thanks to Deanie Olivia, who ministered that funeral, I was able to get them both together forever. So I'm going to hang those two together. Thanks.
Hi, friends. I wrote this butterfly for all of my friends who have lost their battle while active duty and also veteran. Too many. too many.
I didn't make a butterfly for her, but I suppose I should have. Marianne Johnson was a member of our church some time ago and passed away. Before she died, I think it was a year or two before, she planted daffodils right outside the door. And we've been doing some landscaping, and her daffodils have multiplied. So if you would like to take these home as a memento of her, I'm going to leave them up here on the table. And if these are all gone, I do have more. So putting these bags out here. It does say 50 cents on them, but that's just because they're reused bags. They're free. So please.
We light these candles in remembrance of those members also that we have lost, those friends that we have lost, the artists, actors, poets, authors that have inspired us that we have lost, the scientists who have made magnificent discoveries for us, the soldiers that have died protecting us, and then also those unspoken ones that we remember but made us who we are. Slide. We bless this tree and these beloved items with the salt of our tears, representing our grief, the storm of our emotions. And we bless this tree and these items with flower petals, representing our love, the rainbow of memories that give us strength in our loss. We bless these people who have gone on before, and we remember. Okay. We remember them. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
We will now have a few moments for silent meditation, reflection, and prayer. The singing bowl will lead us into silence. After the silence, you're invited to sing Spirit of Life, which is hymn 123, and the words will be on the screen. We're going to do that after. Thank you. The offering is a sacrament of the free church. The donation plates will come around. You can put your donation in there. You can also give online through our QR codes, and you can send donations directly to the church office. We'll be enjoying some music. Thank you.
Nobody told you
in learning more about Unitarian Universalism, please see our membership team. And on next Sunday after the service, there'll be an informal gathering in the library. You can ask questions. Our newsletter was incorrect. There will not be a Getting to Know You this month. So don't come to that because it won't be happening. Okay, so we're up to the questions. That was it. Elements of Dance workshop is going to be happening today in the fellowship hall. It's free and everyone is welcome. You may have noticed there's an election going on. If you haven't voted yet, please do so. That's on Tuesday. And next, there will be a meeting for the organizational meeting for the, let me remember it here, Memory, Aging, and Dementia Research Group, and that's next Saturday. If you're interested, please talk to Deanie. Oh, okay. So the information there is incorrect. So good to know. We'll fix that. Thank you. We didn't remember it. So I guess that was, it shows you what we need to do. Yeah. Special announcement just coming in. Thanksgiving is on November 28th this year. We will be having a group Thanksgiving dinner here at the church. Much like last year, potluck, everybody brings food to share. Details to come next week. So please be on the lookout for that, including a sign up where you can say what you'd like to do. And next Sunday, we're having a guest speaker. The Reverend Misha Sanders will be speaking on For Such a Time as This. So those are our community news. You can always find out more information on our Facebook page, our newsletters, and bulletin boards, and just by asking around. Okay. We do welcome your feedback on this service and any other Sunday if you'd like to use. There's the QR code, and there's a little suggestion box in the lobby, and you can email us directly at Sunday Services. We're trying to make this better all the time. Next. Okay, that's it for those. That. In the interest of time, we're going to skip the final hymn. We're going to go straight to the final reading.
The Cost by Dorothy N. Monroe. Death is not too high a price to pay for having lived. Mountains never die, nor do the seas or rocks or endless sky. Through countless centuries of time, they stay, eternal, deathless, yet they never live. If choice there were, I would not hesitate to choose mortality. Whatever fate demanded in return for life, I'd give, for never to have seen the fertile plains, nor heard the winds, nor felt the warm sun on sands beside the salty sea, nor touched the hands of those I love. Without these, all the gains of timelessness would not be worthy of one day, of living and of loving, come what may.
We now bid farewell to those who have joined us online. We hope you found this service meaningful, and we invite you to join us again, either here in person or online. Be well and go in peace.